Welcome back. Happy Sunday to everybody out there. This is Anthony Goods, one of your co-hosts here, assistant coach at Arkansas State, and you're listening to the Real Work Podcast. We live streaming this thing every Sunday, and I'm joined by my co-host. We're not gonna mess his name up anymore, Francis Matrisciano. What's going on, Francis?
Ooh, how are you, sir? I'm excellent now. I'm always well. I'm
I'm
always
always well, sir.
have to
I'm
be,
always
sir.
well,
Have to
sir.
be. I'm blessed.
I'm
I'm
always
blessed.
well. I see, yo. Ever since we've been doing this podcast online, you've been switching your hat game up. For
No,
years I've been seeing you
same
with
hat
the
every
bucket
week.
hat for like 15
Same,
straight.
same hat every
No,
week.
this is
Well, I
yeah,
can
yeah,
wear that.
online. But you are not who you are in person. In person, you wear bucket hats, sunglasses, everything like that. Like now, why you switching it up? Why you acting different?
Acting different. Hold on.
Yeah, you acting different.
Hold on. I didn't know I was acting different.
Apparently, Frank doesn't know we're live. He just left the set.
Frank knows he's live.
Frank knows he's live. Frank just let you can't be leaving set while we live, baby.
I just
Oh,
did.
there he is. That's the
I just
Frank I
did.
know.
I just did.
That's
We
the
can do whatever
Frank
we
I
want. Leave
know.
the set live.
Hey,
Come on, this is
it's funny. It's funny because I was about to say you're going through an identity crisis, which actually falls right in line with our topic today. But I think you
no
just found
identity crisis.
yourself, so maybe we got to switch
I
topics
know
again.
exactly who I am, and I've always been. But there's no sun out right now. I'm in a house, in a
Okay.
room. I don't need this. This protects me outside, sir. I don't need the sunglasses on. Protects me outside. But this is my baby.
Okay.
Protects me all the time.
All right, that's how the people know you. That's how the people know you. But
I
for those
know.
that don't know, Frank
For
is
those that don't know,
Frank
I
is a
can wear
life
any hat.
changer.
Well, this mug allows me to
That's a
wear any
fact.
hat I want to wear. So
Wow.
let me get into this topic. I really need to get into this. It's been sort of a pet peeve of mine for a while, and we're going to cover a lot. But I'm getting a lot of feedback from people when they're saying, "Wait, you're going to talk about this?" And a lot of them are athletes. So one of the things I wanted to say is,
Okay.
please, for all that is holy out there, coaches, players, stop saying you're a warrior, you're an athlete, and you should be proud of it. There's a lot of people out there that want to be athletes and they can't be. Whether it's basketball, football, hockey, whatever you want, you are an athlete. A warrior, by
Hmm.
definition, is someone who's engaged or experienced in warfare. Warfare. Okay. So when
Right.
coaches come in, and I see it all the time on TV, on promos, and I get they get hyped. Okay. But roll it back a little bit. We're going to war. You're not going to war. You're going to play a game. Your game may be, maybe, taking a orange leather ball, a round one, and putting it through a hoop that hits through a net. That's your game. It's not a war. It's not a war.
Maybe. Right.
Players. I'll go to war with you. I'll go to war with these guys. No, you wouldn't. Because if you did, you'd be joining one of the military branches and taking your guys and actually going to war. When you have a team meeting for your game, albeit could be a violent one, football's a violent sport. But when you go in there, the coach says, okay, our objective is to take this leather ball and we have to go in 10-yard increments and go down a field and touch that ball on the end line for getting some, get some points. We get some points. And the other team has 11 guys in football that are going to stop you, and that's violent. Okay, don't get me wrong. Football is a violent sport. But at the end of the day,
Hmm.
you have a bad day, you're going to go into the locker room, cry in your soup, and then the next day, you're going to get up and practice again and get ready for your next game. Someone who is a warrior and in conflict, they're going to be in their locker room and saying, okay, listen, Our objective is, let's say, we'll use this Russian invasion of Ukraine. The Ukrainians are out there, and from what you see in World War I trenches, and they're saying, you know what, we need to take this town back. What are we doing here? Well, the other guys, listen, you want to take that town back, we're here to kill them. That's what we're taught to do, to kill those other people, your opponent. But
Hmm.
guess what? Guess what? Bad news is they're going to kill you too. There's a high probability that you may get killed. So when someone in those positions has a bad day, they're dead. They don't get a redo. So
Right.
please, for all that is holy,
Right.
stop saying you're warriors. Stop saying that it's war, because it's not. Because you know what? A warrior, fire jumpers, they go into harm's way. Firefighters, law enforcement, border patrol. These people go into harm's way every single day that their life may possibly be on the line and they're not coming back. So that's one of the things I wanted to say today, because athletes have a problem with identity on who they are.
Okay, so from your lens, Frank, what are athletes? Are they just simply athletes? Are they more than athletes?
No, they're athletes.
Can they be more than one thing, or or are they just solely
Well,
athletes?
now wait a minute. When you say an athlete, okay, I'm talking about someone playing a sport, and that's their
Right, right, right,
occupation. That's not who they are.
right,
That's their occupation.
right.
I had a conversation a long time ago with a coach. Then I said, dude, listen to me. Listen to me. Don't identify yourself as a coach, because that's your job. That's an occupation.
Hmm.
But a lot of people do that. Okay. So if you're a football player, that's your occupation. And, I'm going to preface this because someone had asked me, he goes, well, wait a minute. Um, Athletes, you know, they have to be warriors. And I go, why is that? He goes, well, they go out there, and let's say a boxer or a fighter, it's still a sport. There is a chance that they can get injured or killed. But that means that
Or killed? Yeah.
a construction worker is a warrior. A guy who builds bridges, they had the Golden Gate Bridge. I think they said when this bridge is being built, we're going to probably have about 70 people dead from this. So, going in, when you're building that bridge, people are going to
Hmm.
die. That means everybody's a warrior. But that's not the case. There's an occupational hazard in everything you do. Sports, a guy going out catching crabs out in the sea. Those guys were out there on the Arctic Ocean, okay, the Bering Sea.
Right.
That's no joke. There's danger, okay? But that's not something that you're saying, okay, there's someone going to kill me or looking to kill me that same day. That's just an occupational hazard. Guys know the
Hmm.
risk, or women know the risk, and anything they do, that's where the difference is. So, an athlete to me, and they should be proud of it, Anthony, you have football players, you have 53 men on each roster for the active roster. In basketball, how many is it in the NBA? 17, 15 that can dress? Something like that.
17.
So
Yeah.
there are very few people that are able to do what they do. So that as your job, accept it and be proud of it, and don't look to be something you're not. Does that make any sense? It's like they
Yeah.
they're entertainers. They're not entertainers. Here we go. That's another one. They're not entertainers. We go to get entertain. Listen, I was watching the Rams Eagles game today, and Rams were kicking the Eagles' ass for a long time, and all you heard was boos. I've never seen
Right.
anybody boo an entertainer. I've never seen a violinist or an opera singer, or you go to the movie, they're booing.
Who doesn't boo an entertainer?
Huh?
They definitely boo entertainers. I mean, I think an athlete is an entertainer
Who
to an extent.
who's
I think
who?
you look. First of all,
Yeah, go ahead.
how's an athlete not an entertainer, Frank?
He's an athlete playing a
Because it's
sport.
like when you think about it, certain people go to, huh? He's an athlete playing a sport that is entertaining to
Again,
fans,
I
tens
wouldn't
of
look at
thousands of fans
tens of
in
thousands of
an
fans have
arena.
money on that game. They don't care how they don't care. Oh, look how nice he glides across the field. You threw three
Some
interceptions, dude. They don't care. That's not entertaining,
some people love the art of it. Some people
dude.
love.
Then you know what?
Okay,
We're
so look, if
entertainers.
I'm bored sitting at the house and then
Yeah.
I realize, huh?
No, see, you know what?
Nah, and that could be true.
We're all entertainers then, if
But
that's
how
the
can you
case by
say an
that
athlete is
definition.
not an entertainer?
He's not. He's playing a
No,
sport.
we're
They
not
don't
all entertainers.
listen. You go to a movie to get entertained. You go to a comedy show to get entertained. Okay. You go again to a
Hold a
concert
comedy
to get
show. What?
entertained.
Why a comedy show? Why is a comedy show entertaining, but a basketball
Because
game isn't? You're
basketball
still
is
performing on a stage in a form.
it's a sport. It's a sport. And again, people are not going. People again, the majority of people still believe is gambling to go there, and they're fanatics. Fanatics. Okay. So you know what? Going by your logic, my buddy's cat's an entertainer. I went over there the other day. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, watch the cat with the light." And he's following the light around. I go, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Watch this." He goes, "This is so entertaining." Oh, the cat's an entertainer. My niece's grandson. She taught him to go peekaboo. He's an entertainer. They're laughing. They find them entertaining. Athlete, be happy you're an athlete.
It's
Enjoy it.
different.
Okay, it's all good. These are the views that I'm bringing up to people. They can talk and write into us if they're watching the show. But I'm just looking to get things squared away to where what your category is. They don't say sports entertainment, they sports and entertainment for a different category. Okay. I don't see people
Okay,
telling
but
me they're entertained about a sport.
so let's go back to this whole warrior thing with basketball
Please,
players and
please,
football
please, please, please.
players, whoever it is. Is in your mind, is it possible for the basketball player to have a warrior's mentality? Or let's say
Yes.
even a boxer.
Yeah, absolutely. A
It's
mentality?
possible to have a warrior's mentality.
Absolutely. A
Okay.
mentality as absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. A
But you're
mentality,
just
of
saying
course.
that they shouldn't call themselves warrior.
No,
So you're
you
saying
can.
out of respect they should not call themselves
Of
warrior.
course, because again, a coach, I get what you listen. A coach goes in, I want 110%. Newsflash, you can't give 110%. Doesn't exist. You can give 100% of something in anything you do, okay? But you can't give 110%. And you can't go out and say this is war, this is war. It's disrespectful. If you want it for anything else, it's something where
No, I get
you know
that.
and again, I'm not saying guys go out there again, occupational hazard and anything, football, violent sport. You know as well as I do with guys in basketball, rugby, boxing, all respect to all those guys. But to me, it's like, okay, this is your lane. It's almost like sometimes, and this is arbitrary, but people look at athletes as heroes. I don't believe that.
Mhm.
Now, unless you're a kid, maybe I'll give a limit of 10 or 12 is the cutoff. But a hero to
Okay.
me here, an overworked, underpaid nurse, teachers, people like that, EMTs, people like that, those are heroes. Okay. God forbid you have to go to the,
Why are they heroes?
to me, they're overworked, underpaid. They save people's lives. They give people foundation. Because you go to a hospital, you want Steph Curry doing the operation or getting you into the ER and stuff, or you want a nurse. You get what I'm saying? And they're so overworked. They're tired. Those people could be labeled as
You don't think
heroes.
coaches save lives? You don't
Coaches
think
save
coaches save
lives.
lives?
No, I think coaches can help people in growing. I mean, I take pride in what I do and helping people about life, but I wouldn't be that arrogant to say that I save their lives. They may change their lives. Here, I'll give you an example. Um, Long time ago, my buddy, his nephew, he comes in, he goes, I want to go to Hofstra
Hmm.
and I want to go see the Jets at Hofstra when they were at Hofstra. And he goes, I'm going to get some autographs. So I was just busting him. I'm way dramatic. And I go, come here. I give him I get a piece of paper. I sign it. And I go, here you go. Now go get your uncle's. He goes, why do I want your autograph and his? I go, why would you want an athlete's autograph? Again, you're not 10.
Hmm.
He's like, I go, don't go in that category, dude. I said, go read a book called Pros and Cons for football or go read a book called Out of Bounds. They're humans. And you can go see
Right.
with flaws and you can go see the Jets and say, you know what, this guy's got talent as a football player. A lot of people can do what he's doing. That's about how far you want to go with it. So about 2 days later, I said to him, I said, hey, too bad we weren't down in North Carolina. You could have got Ray Caruth's autograph. Now, Ray Caruth was a wide receiver with the Carolina Panthers. He's
Hmm.
like, really? I go, yeah. I go, the police just found him in the trunk of a car. He was hiding out because he just shot his girlfriend who was pregnant and she's in the critical list and the newborn is critical. Well, wound up she died and the
Hmm.
newborn is about 30 now, didn't do too well on the health side. I said, why don't you go get it?
Hmm.
Run, go get it. There's a hero for you. So you got to put things in perspective on what even Charles Barkley said it. We're not role models, we're not heroes. You go to your parents or people that are in your family. And I firmly believe that. And I think again, that's a part that athletes, I don't know if it's a hero complex or whatever. I don't believe in any of that. I think you have a
Yeah.
mentality though. You have to have a mentality to get out there on a football field. You want the
Right.
warrior
Right. Right.
mentality? There's no question about it. Listen,
Right.
I don't pretend to know what that feels like. And I've told you this and I told everybody. I do what I do. Okay? And if I tell someone, "Hey, they'll go, what are you doing? 84-pound vest." I say, put that on your body and just stand there. Never mind having it on for 2 hours. Put it on
Hmm.
your body for 5 minutes. And all of a sudden, like, oh my God, because they've never done it. So I don't know, nor will I ever know what it feels like to go on a Division I football field and play a Division I basketball. Nothing. NFL, none of that. Okay. So I respect them. I don't say, oh, this is nothing. I respect all the athletes and all the people out there that do their jobs that they make look easy. I don't pretend to do that. But at the same time, you have to then, in my opinion, return that to other people who have other situations they're in and don't put yourself in that category.
Right. No, I get that. I get that. I mean, I think today, probably more than ever, we're seeing athletes hold, let's say, I don't know if you want to call it multiple occupations, interest, or whatever it may be, but you have athletes that are also in the media side. I feel like every athlete has a docu series or a podcast or a number of different things. So I begin to wonder, like, with athletes these days having so many different interests and obviously trying to become more than just an athlete, um, you know, maybe you can even argue on the business side too, but is an athlete having all these interests taking away from being the most valuable athlete that they could be in your eyes?
An athlete outside of his main job, sure, if he wants to do something else, but that now again, now you're going outside. Listen, you have, I'll use this as an example. WWE, okay?
Hmm.
Those guys are entertainers, okay? But they show out their athleticism because you going off of those ropes, that's choreographed. Everyone knows the
Yeah.
outcome. It's a show. It's a show.
Yeah.
Okay, it could be a play out there when you go to Broadway. It's the same thing.
Right. Right. Right.
Only they've taken it to a degree physically to put their bodies and that in harm's way. You talk about harm's
Hmm.
way. Those guys and women really have my respect for what they do. And again, they make it look easy. Now, you want to then go into different areas in life, sure. And there's a good point. You're going to own a restaurant. So now, wait, restaurateur? That's something you do as a business, but
Hmm.
you do your other sport. You're going to different avenues now. You have all these guys who play sports and now they're announcers. Okay, they're not athletes anymore. They're former athletes, right? That's what they'll say. I'm a former athlete. Now I'm on TV. I'm a former athlete. I'm in the booth in announcing games, or I'm on TV. I have a TV show. There's a difference. That pretty much makes my point on that because you're going
Yeah.
from one area to another area. You're not in
Right.
sports anymore. You're in entertainment. That's possible, but not while you're playing.
But not while you playing. But that's what I'm saying. The athletes that are doing multiple things while they're playing, are they inhibiting their growth in their particular sport by doing so?
Um, that I can't answer because it depends on what work they're doing. I mean, you're right. These guys spread out and do different things now.
Okay,
And
let's take Draymond Green for example. Draymond Green has a podcast that he does pretty regularly during the season.
during the
I'm
season,
assuming sometimes he during the season, yes. Sometimes he films. I think he films after games. Sometimes at night, late at night. But he's posting pretty consistently. Um, do you think that him being so involved in the media side of the game, has disrupted his development in some way?
I don't think he has any development left, quite frankly. He's on his way down. If you were talking about Draymond Green when
Right.
he
Yeah.
first came up and started, you could have a point there, but no, because he's on his way out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Jared McCain. Let's take Jared McCain. Had a great rookie year. Obviously, he's got the TikTok thing. He's doing, all kind of stuff on YouTube, whatever it may be. I'm just trying to see like where do you think athletes should draw the line in regards to their involvement in anything other than the sport? Because it's
I
like
think they shouldn't. I think
if
they
I'm
should
spending
focus on. I think they should focus on what they're doing um, in the season, all about their game, because I think they would be neglecting it. You again,
okay.
100% effort brings out 100% result. And if you put in 50% effort, you're going to wind up getting 50% results out. And that's being selfish to your teammates in whatever sport you're in, because they may not have those same avenues as you do to do other things during the season, but they're giving 100% and then you may not be. So I can definitely see a young guy who's on his way up. They should concentrate on what they're doing. Off season, knock yourself out, because off season you're going to rest. You got to rest. You should rest anyway. Then you're
Hmm.
going to train and get back into the season again. But that's when you do your different endeavors. Look, Jokic, he goes back to
Yeah.
Serbia, is it? He has horses. He
Yeah,
loves it.
Serbia.
They own race horses, and he loves that.
Hmm.
He's not going back and forth during the season from Denver to go race horses or watch his horses, right? He's
Right.
focused on his season. Then when he's done, rests, gets away from the grind, and goes back to Serbia and does what he loves. So that's something I would very much say is a no-no if you're a young athlete. Now again, Draymond Green, I thought he was going to be retired this year. Who knows, you know? But now he's looking at his other opportunities after he's done with his playing career, and now he's a former athlete. You understand? I mean,
Yeah.
remember the movie? Remember the
No,
movie Goodfellas? Okay,
Goodfellas.
I remember Joe Pesci. The one guy goes, he's laughing. He goes, "What do I amuse you? What am I entertaining? What am I an
Yeah, yeah,
entertainer?
yeah,
Amuse
yeah.
you? How am I funny? How am I funny?" Okay, he doesn't. He didn't think he was an entertainer. He didn't think that was too cool. Know where you're at and be proud of it. I'm not bashing anybody. I'm saying, look it, respect other people in other fields. It's just like if you tell a football player their sport isn't violent. Anybody could do it. How do you think an athlete would feel in any sport if someone said that? Anybody can do it. It's not. What are you doing? What are you
I
doing?
feel you.
You
I,
don't know the grind I go through. Anybody could do it. Anybody could do it. That to me is like they're them calling themselves, whether it's a warrior or whatever, to put themselves in that field just about respect. Take a
nah, I
step
get
back,
you.
guys. Take a step back. Coaches, take a step back. There's other things you can do. Guys, we have a very, very tough football game today. Let's get out there, give 100%. I know we can do this. It's gonna be a grind out there. Let's go. Let's use that warrior mentality.
Hmm.
There you go. Guy coming up the field, I'd go to war with these guys. No, sorry, dude. Stop, please. Disrespect doesn't fly.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. I just wouldn't be surprised if, we look like 5, 10 years down the road and then we look at like the top 5 players in the NBA and one, if not half of them, was probably known as a TikToker or something else more than, an athlete. Or before they were known as like a superstar athlete. Because I
There's
just think
guys
that's
now.
where the world is headed. Like we're just doing so many different things. Like I brought up Jared McCain after, but like if you look at like the top 5 players in the league right now, I feel like they're so focused on their craft, you don't really know what their interests are outside of it as much. So like if you look at like Luka Doncic, like what does Luka do outside of basketball? We don't really know. We can't really point to one thing. Jokic, we know
I
he
would
does
I
the
would used
horses.
to I would used to say he did a lot of eating, but not anymore.
Okay, okay, well,
He,
fair enough.
not
Everybody does,
anymore. He
but
does a
like if you
good
think
job of
about
something.
that, think about Giannis. Does he have any other interests? We don't know. You think about Shea. You know what I mean? So like, but I look at like let's say like Jared McCain, bringing him back up just as somebody else. Like I feel like Jared, he's been very open with his with his life and everything else, which has been cool. And had a great season last year before he got hurt. Probably was on his way to getting Rookie of the Year, and you know we could look 5, 10 years down the road and like he could be looked at. I feel like Jared's probably more well known for his TikTok and his YouTube than he is for basketball alone.
We want to know
And
something about
I
that.
think we're gonna have some of those type of players down the road that are gonna have those multiple identities
You already have
in
them in
regards to their
some kids.
popularity.
You already have them in some guys, some kids who are coming up. I know it's affected them looking to reach their goals because
Hmm.
I've seen a lot of these kids on, I don't know if it's TikTok or Instagram, the followers you get, right?
Yeah,
They're concerned about their followers.
yeah.
You understand? And I'm going, nobody cares how many followers you have on TikTok or Instagram. It's
Nah,
your
people care.
performance. No, I'm talking about people in the sport. No
Oh
coach
yeah, yeah.
cares. No coach cares. Do
Right,
you
right, right, right.
care? You care? Hey, coach,
Nah.
I'm getting my stuff in. I got 500,000 followers on TikTok. Who cares? You're either gonna play or you can't play. So I believe that's affecting kids already. And it starts in high school and
Right.
works their way up. So I definitely agree with that. But you look at some of the older guys now who have been retired. Um, People don't even know they were athletes. You know, they're on TV. They're announcers, commentators, and they go,
Hmm.
That guy played sports," and you go, "Yeah, he's like a Hall of Famer."
Yeah.
I guarantee you, there are a lot of people that don't know that Charles Barkley or Kenny Smith or Shaq played sports. They know them from TNT with Ernie Johnson. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Now hold on. You know what? I just want to say there's a dude who I would say is a hero, Ernie Johnson.
Oh,
Ernie
why?
Johnson. For the fact, I don't know if you know his history, and I'm not really in detail, but
Hmm.
he had a son who just passed away a little while ago, and his wife and him went over to Europe, and they went to adopt a child, and he was a special needs child,
Hmm.
and they knew that, and they adopted him. And I'm not sure he passed away in his 30s. I really don't know, but it was just like maybe last year. But think about that. Here's a guy who has a career, who's busy, and his wife and he come up and say, you know what, we want this child who has
Right.
special needs, who we already know what we're going to have to do with him for his life. That
Hmm.
there's a hero. There's a hero.
No, I'm with that.
You get what I'm saying?
I'm on board with that. I'm
And
on
and,
board with that.
and I just popped into my head when I talked about TNT. Um, but yeah, so some of those guys they don't even recognize them as athletes anymore. They recognize them as entertainers on TV.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but I do think, and this just came to mind. You know, what I mean, I think that athletes indirectly inspire people and get them to change their ways for whatever it was. But I forgot. I think I was overseas, man, and I don't know how this conversation come up. And I hate to keep coming back to Jared McCain, but this dude, he had brought up Jared McCain because he asked, yeah, this is how. So Jared McCain went to my high school, and the kid
He
had
went to your high
asked
school?
like where I was from. Yeah, he's from Corona. So where I went to school, all this other stuff, and I was like, oh, I went to Corona Centennial. He's like, hey, that's Jared McCain's school, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, man, like Jared McCain changed my life. And I'm like, oh, you know Jared McCain? Because this kid's foreign. Like I was in Switzerland. And he's like, nah, man, but I watched his videos and just I guess it was something or rather around like just how he's so free and he doesn't care what other people think and this, that, and the third, and he just happens to be good at basketball. He said that Jared's story and him sharing his story was very inspiring to him and has changed his life and has inspired this kid. And and I thought back to that and I was just like, man, that's kind of crazy that halfway across the world, Jared's just uploading videos on YouTube. And that's where I'm saying, like, he's bigger on YouTube. He's more well known, I think, for his YouTube and his social media presence than he is for basketball. And,
Well, if he's reaching
you
out to
know,
listen, you could people get inspired from a lot of people.
right.
I get inspired from a lot of people. I was visiting a friend of mine a while back, and I don't like hospitals, and I don't take elevators or escalators if I can avoid it, and I take the stairwell. And I'm in this small stairwell, and it must have been on the ninth floor, or something like that. And I heard
Mhm.
someone ahead of me, and I'm going, I go now. I'm gonna pass this person. Uh, it's tight, and I kept going, and I kept going, and I started getting closer and closer. But when I got to the floor I was getting off at, the door just was closing, and I quick ran out, and I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "Excuse me, sir." There's an older gentleman. I said, "Did you just walk up those stairs from the stairwell?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't take stairs. That's why I'm a visitor here." I said, "Ma'am, God bless you." I said, "That's hopefully that's going to be me in 100 years. I want to do the same thing." So I get inspired
Mhm.
all the time from people. And I don't, there's no reason why an athlete, I didn't say an athlete couldn't inspire someone, but they can inspire someone by being the person, not the occupation.
Okay.
Get what
I
I'm
can feel
saying?
that. No, I get you. I get you. I get you.
Because when you're done, listen,
Where,
when you're done with you're done. You know, it's like in anything, you have an occupation, then you're retired or whatever, people don't recognize you for that. They can
right.
recognize you for the person you are and who
100%.
you've grown to be in all of your endeavors through your whole life, learning from other people, growing from people. And that's what makes you special on that end, not the occupation, not the sport or the athlete. Because, like I said, there's a book, Pros and Cons, which is pros, meaning football, and cons, which is convicts. Okay. Just because
Hmm.
you can play sports doesn't mean you're a nice guy or a nice woman, right?
Right.
It happens. Doctors, look at doctors, these poor girls in the Olympics, what the gymnasts, Michigan State dude, he's a
Hmm.
pedophile. Okay. Oh, but he's a well known doctor. He's a pedophile. So you don't really know people like that on a certain level. So your occupation doesn't make you to me anything. And I just like again separation of who you are, what your occupation is, but in that occupation, own that occupation, and that's what you do for a living, and that's what you are.
Yeah, I think there's a fine line because I think there's a lot of athletes that kind of get lost in. I mean, there's people in general that probably get lost in their job and it kind of becomes part of their identity. But I think that's a slippery slope because I'm sure we all know some basketball players that kind of tie themselves to their occupation and things are going really well in basketball, everything's sweet, things are going bad, they kind of go into a hole. And I think it's probably a little more prevalent with younger players, but I think as you get older, you start to realize, like, yeah, this is a game. There is a life outside of this wins and losses, and there's a life outside of me going 5 for 15 today. You know what I mean? And I think that, but when you're young, you don't see it because you're chasing something, right? You're
I
chasing
hear
this
you.
level, you're chasing money, you're chasing whatever it may be, and it's tough to part from that when you still, in the trenches chasing whatever goals you're chasing. But
But you just
um,
said it. They're identifying themselves
right,
through their occupation, which they
right.
shouldn't. And that's why I
Oh, for
told that one
sure.
dude, I said, dude, you're all you are is a college basketball coach right now in your job. Nothing more, nothing less. And when you get fired, not if, when you get fired, okay, because coaches get hired to be fired, you don't want that to be, oh my God, I got fired. Now what? What do you mean now what? You know? There are other things
Yeah,
in life that you do. So you have players again right now. I get you're in the grind. I get they're searching for, and they should listen. You should be focused on what you're doing when you're first coming up. And
yeah,
then once you make the goals you want to make, then you can diversify if you want, but you're not taking away from the main thing that got you there. Because again, that's not fair to any. If you're in a team sport, it's not fair to the guys in the locker room that are counting on you to give 100%.
yeah. No, for sure. But I think too, I think that same, I think that same issue exists, amongst coaches. And I'm kind of speaking from the outside in on this, but like, everybody always talks about like the divorce rate amongst coaches, and let's say, and I think a lot of it probably has to do with some coaches kind of dedicating their lives to basketball. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy. We got plenty of 12-hour days here. It's very easy to come home and not pay attention to your wife, not walk the dog, not want to pay attention to your kids and whatnot. And then you kind of like lose control of your personal life because you're just so invested in basketball or the team. But I just think that if basketball taught me anything, at least during my career, it was like you got to learn to start to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? Every loss is not the end of the world. Yeah, you have times where you can be upset and you can kind of dwell on it, but I think trying to find that balance and kind of keep your work outside of your personal life is key. But I don't think a lot of people um,
You have to
look at it that way.
compartmentalize in
You
that
have to.
respect. Okay, but again, you said, and I agree because I've seen it. A lot of coaches can't, and when I say can't, they won't. And
Yeah.
my thing would always be, why'd you get married? You shouldn't be married. You should be single because
Hmm.
your obviously focus is your job, which to me is insane. I'm sorry, it's a job. It's a job. Okay, that's it. You're making monies to take care of whatever you have to take care of, but it's a job. And again, you're going to get fired. Odds are you're going to get fired. Okay. There are very few and far between that don't, right? But if that's the person that you are and is an obsession, then you shouldn't be selfish and get married and have kids because the wife is the one that's doing all the heavy lifting. Okay.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not fair to her. You
No,
know what
it's
I'm
not.
saying? And that's listen. I, I'm not a coach. I've never had to fall into that category, nor would I be because that thing right there. You know, if I'm going to be with somebody, I have to give 100% to that relationship because here, like I said, you're coaching, now you get fired. Now what?
Hold on, let's back up. But you said you can't give 100% and expect you can't give 50% and
Right.
expect 100% result, right?
I give
You said something
100%.
to that
I
effect
and
earlier.
I always say
Okay,
that
okay. You
if
get
you give
okay, but how are
50%
you
to
going to give
something, you
100%
deserve
to
50%
your
out.
okay, how are you going to give 100% to your relationship and 100% to work?
Compartmentalize. You're going out the door. I do it. Love you, sweetheart.
Hmm.
Love you, sweetheart. Listen, every day, and
Okay,
this is
let's
something.
quantify it though. Let's
Hold on, wait a minute.
quantify it in
Hold on. Let me
regards
get
to
this. Hold
time.
on.
All
Hold
right.
on. Every day, I want people, and this is something here. You always say something to people. Here, every day, I tell my wife I love her before I leave, and she says it back because that's going to be the last thing someday she's going to hear from me eventually, right?
Mm-hmm.
At night, the same thing. So when I leave the house, I now love you, and I'm out the door. Now I'm
Okay.
going to do my training, my work, with whoever I'm with. I give them 100%. Every single person. You know that.
Right.
Then I come home, I'm on my family. Okay. If I have to do something like this or something that I need to get done, whether it could be yard work or cutting down trees, I give 100% to that. But when I'm with my wife and my son, I do the best I can to focus on them and give 100%. And then I give 100% outside. So a coach can certainly go to work, okay, and come
Mm-hmm.
home when he's done. Listen, I've seen guys. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they're like, oh, I got more stuff to do. I said, no, you don't. You should be home. So they can't compartmentalize, and that affects their marriage. That affects their family. You,
Right.
as a coach now, you go out and do your thing. But when you come home, that should be done. You
Yeah,
give
it
that,
should be in theory.
yeah, but
But
that
that's
and
but
that's
that's my point. You're giving 100% of 25% of your day to
no,
your
you're giving
family.
100% to your job at your job. Dude, your job cannot be
Right.
24/7. Can't be.
No, it's not. That's why I say it's 25% of my day is when I'm at home.
Okay.
25% of my day is when I'm at home, right?
Okay.
So I'm talking about waking hours. I'm not talking about sleep because when we're
Sure. I
asleep, we're not
understand. I
conscious, right?
understand.
I'm talking about waking hours. So it's just like if I get home, if I get home at like 7 o'clock, and I got 4 hours at night, 2 hours in the morning to spend with my wife. That's 6 hours over the span of 24 hours.
Okay.
That's 25% of my day. Like, yes, I can give my wife 100% of 25% of my day, but it's it's I don't think you could give. I mean, you pretty much can't give anything 100%. But like now, when I look at the amount of hours that I may or may not be spending at work, it's a lot. It's a lot more. Maybe that's like 60% or 70% of my day. You
But
know what I'm
that's the
saying?
job you chose. Don't put a gun to your head.
Right.
That's the job you
Yeah.
chose, and your wife knew that going in to what you're doing now. So there has to be a balance on when you're spending your time at home, okay, and the hours you put in there and the time you go to work. But you can still give that 100%. It's always
Right.
listen.
A hundred
Shut your
percent of
phone off.
25%
Listen,
of my
shut
day.
your phone off. Don't take a call. Okay, you don't need to do stuff like that. I see guys, they get home from their coaching and they're still doing their coaching. They got
Yeah.
kids. They got a wife. What are you, nuts? But that's
Yeah.
where people slip off the edge, and that's right. Those are the people that to me are selfish. Okay, so here you have an opportunity to do a great job as a coach. I know you will. At the same
Hmm.
time, be a great husband.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. For sure. I just think that like I think the perfect balance, which I'm not sure it exists. Well, I'm pretty sure it exists some way, shape, or form.
It's whatever you make it.
Is
The perfect balance is whatever you and your wife or whomever
I
is
know
in the
I'm just telling you
relationship.
what it looks like for me. Perfect balance
Oh,
would be like, yo, to give 50% of my day to work and 50% of my day to, family and whatnot. But we're just not there yet. We're not there yet. But
it's a possibility that'll happen, sir. But all I'm telling you is you do a great job. You will be a great head coach, and you're paying your dues. You're doing the right thing, and you'll get there. And as that goes, as you grow, because as a head coach, more responsibility comes with more money. You'll
mm,
get, and that's the balance you have with your wife. But those
no,
discussions are between
100%,
you guys.
100%. But I just think in closing, for this particular conversation, I'll say that I'll never be the type. I felt like I was that type, let's say, like as a player, like pretty early on in my career. Like I just couldn't see anything outside of basketball, and everything else just came third, fourth, and fifth.
Dude, you were
But
young. You were young,
yeah,
of
that's what I'm
course. What
saying.
else
But I'm
is
saying
there?
like, but I'm talking about now. I don't think I'd ever lose myself in work. You know what I mean? To that extent, where
You
it
won't because
becomes
you've
my
grown and you've
identity.
learned
It's
as you've
something that
grown.
I do. Yeah, it's something that I do. But yeah, but as we start to wrap up here, let us know who is Frank? What is Frank's identity? Francis's identity. What is your identity?
My identity.
Yeah. Who are you?
Hopefully, I'm a caring, sensitive person that is altruistic, selfless. I like to look at that, thinking of others before myself. A lot of times I've done that, but see that there's something where I've done that, and I have a tactical vest I wear now because I didn't get stabbed in the back so many times. So I have to be I have to be cautious of
Is that
trusting
the
a lot
vest
of
you wear
people.
every day when you
Have-
walk out of the house?
yeah,
Everybody knows you
and
by,
it's not only bulletproof; it's stab proof.
and it
And
has
I
11
needed that
envelopes.
I wear that because I got stabbed so many times in the back from helping people, trusting people. I've learned, but I like to say that that's something I'll never ever change. I have a hard time sometimes. Candace will say, "Oh my God, you're doing this." Say you hear, she hears people's conversations with me, and she'll, "There you go again." And then they're just gonna do these things, and all of a sudden, boom, they stab you in the back. So I
Hmm.
would view myself as a caring person, sensitive, like to help people. I don't feel like get taken advantage of that much anymore. But yeah, as far as my work, I feel I do 100% for everybody when I train them, whether it's the mental
Hmm.
training, the physical training. And I hope I'm a great dad and a great husband. But you'd have to ask my wife and son that.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the day, right?
Hold on. What? Oh, they said thank you. I'm the best husband on the planet and the best dad.
There it is, there, man. There it
Not
is,
my
there. That's all
words.
you can. Hey, not your words, not your words, man. There it is, there, man. Well, yo,
Oh
before we
man.
get out, man, give us a little piece of
No,
advice, man,
no
to take with
warriors,
us.
please. No warriors, coaches. No warriors. No war games. No war, please. I'm begging you one more time, please.
Yeah, show respect. So
That's it.
that's your
So
advice heading
my
into this
advice is
happy
just
Monday
do your
tomorrow.
jobs. Do your jobs. Be proud of who you are in your job,
Hmm.
and that's it. And don't try to jump to someone else's crap. And again, I'm going to hear a lot. I heard a lot of guys when we were talking about this. So I'm anxious to hear what they want to say on it. I've had some fun conversations. But yeah, just listen. Just be stay blessed. Everyone stay blessed. Is another day. Hopefully you wake up, you start your day fresh, and you move on every day. Treat every day like a blessing because we're guaranteed nothing. I'll tell you this: you listen to these TV shows, sports shows. That guy's day to day. Hello, we're all day to day. We're all minute to minute. My wife will say to me, "What are you doing when you come in? I'm driving home." Well, my plan is to get home in the next 15 minutes. What do you mean? I said, I don't know. I hope I get there in the next 15 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen when I hang up the phone, which I'll end by saying, I love you. Okay.
Right.
So just everyone, every day is a blessing. Yes, that's my
Nah,
advice to everybody out there.
that's a
And
fact.
spread the word on the
But now,
podcast, folks. Please spread the word.
yeah,
Use
spread the
all your,
word,
your
hit a
Twitter,
like.
your whatever, huh?
Yeah. Spread it on the Twitter everywhere. Hit a like, hit the subscribe
Instagram, hit a
button.
like button. What do you
Y'all know
say?
where we gonna be at every Sunday. Every
Wait,
Sunday.
wait, what do you say? You say hit a like button. What?
Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. There's a
Let me say that.
subscribe button.
Let me say
You know,
that.
you
Hit, hit,
subscribe to anything, Frank.
hit the like button for us. Hit the subscribe button for us. Get
There
us
you
out
go.
there.
There you go. But that's all we got today. We'll be back next Sunday, man. We appreciate y'all listening. Whether you listen live or pre-recorded, it's all love, and we'll catch y'all next week. Y'all be safe, and we out.